All right, so let's go ahead and create an app that has a tab indicator. And I'm going to create a new project, and we'll call this tab indicator. And we'll go ahead and target the same level 10 SDK. And this time we're going to go all the way to the bottom and we're going to select a tabbed activity. And we're going to change the navigation style to action bar tabs. And Gradle will do its thing. Okay, so let's go ahead and just run what we have so that we can see what it looks like. I'm going to run the app. And select the Nexus 7. All right, so a tab indicator is basically when you have a set of tabs at the top, and if I click on one of these, it's going to change the content in the display pane. And most of the navigation with tab indicators has actually been deprecated at this point, which means that the UI mavens who say what's good about user interface think that there are better metaphors like swiping for navigating from page to page. But we have the style information for it anyhow, so let's go ahead and look at that. Now, I'm going to start this one off by going to the Android manifest, and I'm going to change the theme from style/app theme to custom theme. So I'm going to start with the main application using the same custom theme that I was using before. And that's going to let me go into my Action Bar 2 project. And I'm going to copy all of this stuff having to do with the custom theme. And I'm going to replace the default app theme with my custom theme. And now the app should use my custom theme. Okay, so I'm missing the resource drawable action bar background. So let me copy that as well. So under drawable action bar background, and then resources drawable paste. We'll leave it action bar background. And now let's go ahead and try it. And we'll run it on the Nexus 7. Right, so now we have our custom tab indicator, and we also see that the text in each tab is black. And now let's go ahead and run it on the Nexus 1. And the same thing. Oh, actually, we're missing our background there. Have to figure that out. All right, so I've done a little digging around, and here's what I've found. So when you run the app on Nexus 1, like so, and you have no color rainbow, if you look in the log, you'll see an error, style contains key with bad entry. And I did some research on this error, and it seems to be linked to some limitations in the API before version 3. So the bottom line here is that if you're using both background image with the menu bar and tabs, no good. But if I go ahead and I change my main activity, so this is all the default code. Here's where it loads the content pane and the action bar, and then everything below that is adding the tabs. So I'm going to comment all of this code out that's adding the tabs in. And that's the only change I'm going to make. So now I have an action bar with no tabs, and if I run this on the Nexus One, now it styles the action bar properly. So it appears that you can style the action bar or you can have tabs, but in 2.3 you can't do both at the same time. Now, this should have been fixed in 3.0, which is, I believe, API level 11. So I'm going to go ahead and uncomment out the code. And I'm going to go change the min SDK in my Gradle build. Oh, I have to go back to this layout. So I'm going to change the min SDK to 11. And I'm going to add a version 11 device. So that would be 3.0 or later. Actually, I don't seem to have a 3.0. Okay, well, let's do it the slow way here. So I'm going to go to the SDK manager, and I'm going to download the platform for API 11. So SDK platform, and install that. Okay, so that's installed. Now I'm going to go to the AVD manager and create a new virtual device. Go for tablet, go for that one. And I want API level 11, honeycomb. And I cannot use the host GPU on this level of the API. And so let's go ahead and run it. This will take a while. Okay, so that took several minutes. Let's swipe up. And I'm going to run the app. And actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to set the min SDK back to 10, but I'm going to run on SDK version 11. So that's the emulator Nexus 7. Okay, so it works on API level 11, exact same code. Does not work on API level 10. So this is definitely a problem with targeting older versions of the Android prior to 3.0.0. And if this was an important feature of my application, I would have to start doing some redesign or figuring out an acceptable workaround. Let's go ahead and continue. The other thing that the tutorial talks about for styling the action bar tabs is creating a drawable action tab indicator to indicate different states. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this code here. I'm just going to copy the whole thing. And I'm going to create a new drawable called action bar under tab under indicator. So under drawable, new file, and put it under drawable called action bar tab indicator .xml. And I'll go ahead and paste that in, save it. So now I have to declare some images. So I need a background for the, start with the top. So tab unselected. So if a tab is unselected, I'm just going to create a bunch of 1 pixel images. And we'll go 1. And let's say unselected is going to be light gray. So I'm going to save this as, and this is going to go into my tab indicator file, project rather. Source, main, resources, drawable, and what was this one called? So this is going to be tab unselected. Triple check that. Tab under unselected.png. And then I'm going to make dark gray for tab selected. And now I want tab unselected focused, unfocused. Tab unselected focused, let's go ahead and make that light blue. Tab unselected under focus. And then we'll make a, that's aqua actually, dark aqua be tab selected focus. And now we'll do tab unselected pressed. So let's go for a light purple for that. Tab unselected pressed. And we'll go for dark purple. Tab selected pressed. And that's everything but tab unselected focused and tab selected focus. So why didn't I end up with those? Tab selected focus. Focused. Alright, so when you need to change a file name, right click here and go to refactor. And this will not only change the file name, but if you have any references to it, it will change those as well. And then tab unselected focused. All right, so that's all of those. Let me just go ahead and compile this and see if it gives me an error. Okay, so that works. Let's go ahead and run it. Okay. All right, so far. So now we've declared some resources here, or style. And then we have to hook it in. So here's the code for that. So we're going to change our custom action bar theme, my action bar tabs. We should already have one of those. Action bar tab style is my action bar tabs. And then here's where we refer to our drawable. So let's see what we have already in our style. So this is a new one. So our custom action bar theme, we want to add these two things. So paste that and move this one down. And get rid of that. And then we need my action bar tabs. So grab this whole thing. And I'll just add that to the end here. Okay, and that's referencing action bar tab indicator, and it seems okay. So let's go ahead and run it now. Okay, so now they're highlighted. Ooh, and when I click on it, it changes color. So you can see which one is selected. You can see when it's pressed, focused. Yeah, so when you press and it's selected, you get dark purple. When you press and it's unselected, you get white. All right, well, whatever it's doing, it seems to be working. So let's go ahead and try it on level 10 of the API. So that part's actually working. All right, so it seems to just be the background color that was the issue. I think that wraps it up for tab indicators. In the next video, we're going to go ahead and look at overlaying the menu bar.